and thanks for joining us from our studios in Israel. I'm Natasha Kirchuk here with ILTV's Morning Briefing.
The Israeli government is pulling out all of the stops for U.S. President Donald Trump's visit tomorrow. Originally, the American leader was going to be met with a basic handshake ceremony and a helicopter to Jerusalem to meet with the Israeli president. But in light of Trump's arrival in Riyadh on Saturday, where he was greeted by the King of Saudi Arabia, an air show, a series of cannons, and an escort of around a dozen horses, Israel may be feeling pressure to up the spectacle. Trump reportedly described the Saudi welcome as very impressive, and former President Barack Obama allegedly didn't receive the same kind of treatment when he visited Saudi Arabia. Israel's Channel 10 News has a picture of a military band practicing on the tarmac and says the Israeli president will make a speech upon Trump's arrival. According to a report at the New York Times, foreign officials are developing a framework for interacting with the unpredictable U.S. president. The question is it too late for Israel to add an air show? Saudi Arabia is giving its full backing to U.S. President Donald Trump's plans for an Israeli-Palestinian peace agreement. Last night, in a press conference with U.S. Secretary of State Rex Tillerson, the Saudi foreign minister said that the country believes Trump has the strength and decisiveness to broker a deal. The foreign minister's comments come after Trump has signed a $100 billion arms deal with Saudi Arabia, including tanks, missile defense systems, and combat ships. Trump says the deal will create jobs in the United States, but some are concerned it could affect Israel's qualitative edge. In 2002, Saudi Arabia promoted an Arab peace initiative which Israel rejected, because it mandated the return of huge amounts of Palestinian refugees into Israel. And meanwhile in Jordan, the top Palestinian negotiator Saeb Erekat is saying that moving the U.S. embassy to Jerusalem would mean the end of the peace process. Although Trump's ambassador to Israel, David Friedman, supports such a move, it appears increasingly likely that Trump will follow the example of previous presidents and ignore the Jerusalem Embassy Act of 1995. An Arab Knesset member has gone up to the Temple Mount in defiance of a 2015 ban on Knesset members visiting the holy site. The Temple Mount, said to be the most holy site in Judaism and the third holiest place in Islam, has been a point of tension since it came under Israeli sovereignty in 1967. Knesset member Masoud Gnaim of the Islamic movement went to the Temple Mount as part of an annual lead-up event to Ramadan, which begins on Friday. He is attacking Benjamin Netanyahu's ban on Knesset members visiting the Temple Mount and has called the area occupied territory. Although the Temple Mount is under Israeli sovereignty, a Jordanian Islamic group controls access, and Jews are forbidden from praying at the site under threat of detention. The Waqf has also been criticized for a reckless use of bulldozers on the Temple Mount, which archaeologists claim has destroyed or displaced ancient artifacts from as far back as the First Temple period. A Palestinian teenager who allegedly attempted to ram Israeli soldiers with a car in March has died from wounds during the incident. Fatima Jibrin Takatka died in a Jerusalem hospital on Saturday due to critical injuries from both the intentional car crash and IDF gunfire. Surveillance footage of the West Bank scene showed Takatka's car swerve across multiple lanes of traffic before crashing into the posts outside of a bus stop. The IDF claims that Takatka was targeting the troops at the junction, not the civilians who are also visible in the footage. Takatka was 16. The incident took place at a major junction in the Gush Etzion settlement block between Jerusalem and the city of Hebron, one of the most disputed parts of the territories. The old city of Jerusalem was covered in the blue and white of the Israeli flag on Saturday night as part of the festivities to commemorate the 50-year anniversary of the reunification of the city. The 16th century ramparts were the screen for a colorful sound and light show featuring iconic images of the Six-Day War. The 1967 conflict brought the entirety of Jerusalem under Jewish sovereignty for the first time since the Hasmonean kingdom ended more than 2,000 years ago. At that time, the city extended far south of the Temple Mount, in what is now the City of David Archaeological Park and the Palestinian village of Silwan. Many had hoped that U.S. President Donald Trump would mark Jerusalem Day by announcing that the U.S. would move its embassy to the Israeli capital. But as he pushes for new peace talks, the prospects seem iffy.
That's all for now. I'm Natasha Kirchuk, and see you later with our main daily broadcast from Israel at 2 p.m. Eastern Time.